What's good, everybody? You already know who it is. And if you haven't been introduced to this channel, I'll this is tips for young black men in college. This is for all young brothers who are either currently in college or about to attend college and just got one great tips and advice to help them through that transition. The transition is very smoothly, or to maintain within the journey of young manhood as well as being in college by doing everything and juggling it all. So I hope everybody likes it. Please like, subscribe. Let's hop right into it. Today I want to talk about a topic that may not be so, it may not get all the views. May that I don't have no clickbait to add with this to make it more appealing. It's straight up advice, but I believe it's good advice, good solid advice, and it's key to your success within college. And that is choosing the right classes, picking the right classes, or whichever kind of terminology you can use for it. Basically, when you're enrolled in college, whether you're an incoming freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, how to pick the right classes, how to pick the classes going to optimize your ability to graduate, get you good grades, hopefully recommendation letters, and build you with much success. You say, well, is this really important? That's what you may be thinking to yourself or saying to this computer screen. Yes, it's really important because you must understand that without picking good courses, it could jeopardize you graduating on time. It could jeopardize your GPA because if you're not filling the class, a lot of times, even as much as we want to say we're World Star students, amazing students, World Star, not the brand, but the actual like our ceiling or our potential is worldwide, our universal students. A lot of times we don't always put the effort that we would like into that class. Not saying you, but a lot of people. I've seen it across the board, no matter age, race, no matter uh, upperclassmen, lowerclassmen. When we're taking a class that we really don't like, we go, ugh, I gotta do it. And that's not how your class should be. Now, not saying that you're not gonna have those days in any class where you're like, oh, I don't feel like going to class today. I don't feel like doing this. The lecture is boring. But usually, you're not as willing to do the work on time. There's a lot of procrastination. There's a lot of, oh man, I gotta do it. And that's never fun for anybody. But when you can take classes that are fit your schedule, fit your personality, fit your degree plan, everything works and it's hitting on all cylinders. You're like, okay, I gotta take this class. It may be difficult, but it's interesting. I'm learning something about it. Oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. And as a result, you begin to slowly and surely digest the work, and it's easier to do. Or how can I put it? It's more, the transition is more smoother to do because of the class type in which you're taking. So the number one tip I would give you is gauge your professors and gauge the kind of class that you're trying to take. The number one rule is there's a lot of companies like Rate My Professor, which have show professors from all institutions all over. It's talking to friends. If you got a older sibling, particularly trusted friends, not random people, but even just specific trusted friends, siblings, or those that you may see in passing, kind of getting consensus. Not saying that you are sheep and you follow the flock or follow the crowd, but finding those people and just asking, okay, how's this person, how's that person, and then going on Rate My Professor. It seems like, okay, I got to take these classes, but who's the best to take? And then if see what fits your personality. Are you looking for a person who gives great feedback? Are you looking for a person who's going to challenge you? Are you looking for a person that gives good lectures? Kind of go into what you're trying to do. Two, it's the one that shouldn't have to be said, but I would say it anyway. Find classes that fit your degree plan. If you declared a major, or have declared a major, or are planning on declaring a major, try to take the courses within that degree. Because a lot of times what will happen, you would get a class, you would go off track. It's not even a class you want to be in, but you're like, oh yeah, well I just took it just picking something that random, and it ended up being a class that you don't like. And then you end up dropping the class and you don't get the credit hours and you still get paid. I mean, you still get fined that tuition and everything else. So not fined, but you still get charged that tuition. And it's usually just not a particularly great situation. Tip number three that I would tell you is always, always, always find classes that fit your personality. Personally, for me, I'm a very visual learner, but at the same time, I'm a very methodical, a very not methodical as in a bad way, but as in a uh, strategic way. I should say strategic, not methodical, but strategic. That's the word I'm looking for. Learner. and I'm very detailed in what I do. So my freshman year, incoming freshman, first class I ever took, I took an in-person math class. And that same semester, my freshman year, my first semester ever in college, I took an English class in person. The math class that I took in class, I did not like it whatsoever. But I did like the English class in person. So guess what? When it was time for me to take that class over, because I am dropping the class because it was insane. The lectures were nothing would just really fit my personality. It just didn't fit how I was used to learning. So the next semester I took a math class, but I took it online. Had basically homework to do every single week that must be turned in for you to continue the class. Had to structure the test. We had to still take the test in person, so it wasn't no, oh man, you like taking that online class because the test was online. No, no. First and foremost, I don't go down that road of don't cheat at all. But I don't never go down that road of, yeah, it was easy for me to do it. No, it's not easy. It's just how it fits your personality. So I took the class online and I had modules to do. But the difference between me is it took me a minute to pick up math because math is not my absolute strongest suit. Yeah, I'm playing to the stereotype. It's unfortunate, but unfortunately, math is not my strongest suit. So I guess I'm not saying I'm playing into it, but I'm living the stereotype. But it's true, math is not my strong suit. So I took the class online and I loved it. And every single day I was doing a modular. And if I didn't understand, I was watching videos. And they would actually log your time for how many times you watch a video. I think in that one class alone, I stayed on that math learning modular website, including the tests, including the preps, including the homework, including everything. I put in about 100 and something hours of login time just watching the videos over and over again. And sometimes if it was hard for me to do, I would look at that module all day. I would take one day aside, whether it be a Saturday, whether it be a Sunday. And that's the beautiful thing about taking an online class, that you can, even if you want to get up Sunday morning, when the colleges classes are, they don't have any classes on Sundays, particularly at the place that I was currently attending, and you could go on there Sunday morning and stay up there on there till the next Monday morning, 1 a.m. Monday morning, going over the modules over and over again until you got it in your head. I learned it. But then at the same time, on the online class, you could schedule appointment time or offer time with the professor, and they will in that particular class, they would come in and tutor people. Or they would have somebody like a TA or something, which is like a teacher assistant, or have somebody tutor you one on one or help you out, or they would give you resources like go to the library and get tutoring, whatever. That I love that class. Okay, and then again, I took my English 101, my English 102, and my English 101 I took in person. I took English 102 online, didn't like it. Now, you would think in my mind that that would tell me something right there, but it didn't. But nonetheless, I still was successful in it. But that's why I make this channel, to help you not make the mistakes that I did. And I was like, you know what? That was my first ever semester. By this time, this was had to been either the fall of I mean, this had to been fall. So I guess this had to been the first semester of my sophomore year. So I said to myself, I said, you know what? That was just me being young and not getting to the vibe and the flow of school yet of college. So maybe it's just me. Let me try to take the math class in person. Let me try to take this English online. And that's when I took English 102 online. Did not like it whatsoever. So as you see, it wasn't so much that I had matured, because I've always been mature, always been a hard worker, always gotten A's and B's, never got nothing less than an A or a B on any of my report cards, whether it's growing up, even into college. So I said to myself, I said, you know what? Maybe it's just me not liking those particular classes. But I said to myself, no, something else. So I tried to take those classes again, the math in person, the English online, and did not like it. So this semester, or I guess it would have been the last semester, whatever, I had to take the math online. I mean, I had to take the math in person because nobody was offering it online. Didn't like it. I took American literature class online. First time, a second time taking an English class online. Did not like it. So what did that teach me? That my learning intangibles that my learning tricks and characteristics best suits me to take a math class online and an English class in person. So that's tip number three without going all over the world, but I want to give you personal experience. You're going to learn about three things when you get to like speech class. You're going to learn about ethos, logos, and I forgot what the last one was. I think they're like Greek words, but one of them talks about experience. One of them talks about playing into several things. But I think one of them, if not mistaken, talked about I think one of them talked about credibility or experience, or is it the credibility link or something? I can't remember what it was, but it's something that has to do with speech class that talks about um, adding some form of characterability there. Credibility. Excuse me. So push come to shove, I learned these things. I learned them the hard way. I wasted a couple of credit hours, and I did end up securing B's out of not only the English class but the other class that I took that was online. That I may talk about that and do another video on that later. The particular class I took that didn't have nothing to do with my major. Going back to tip two or whatever. But I took that class. I took the class and got a B out of it. But I know in my heart of hearts, if I had taken it online, I could have gotten an A. And I struggled to get the B. I mean, it was me trying to hunt down a professor saying, "What do you want?" Office hours, they're really not available, not returning anybody emails. It was just it was very difficult, or it was I won't say difficult, but it was just a lot harder than just taking that class in person and being able to talk to the professor and do certain things. So again, tip three would be just take the classes what fit your personality, what fit your work ethic, what fits how you do certain things. And for me, not for everybody, not telling you to do that, but for me, it was a math class online, getting as much tutoring as I possibly could, watching videos as many times as I wanted to online, and it was taking the English class in person, can talk to my professors, can write something, can they get to know me, I get to know them, they understand my writing style, they know how I operate, I know how they operate. I know particularly very meticulous because in math, either you get the problem right or you get it wrong. When it comes to English, you gotta know how that professor likes how they like it. Some people like APA, some people like MLA style, some people like commas, some people like a lot of transitional words in papers. Some people want you to use barely any um, um, barely any references or citation or notes inside the paper. Some people want you to use a lot of them. So you can gauge your professor's writing and how they think a quote unquote perfect paper is, and you try to write it to that closest ideal of what a perfect paper is. And a lot of times you'll do, I did well in the English class in person. So as you can see, not each and every person each and every person gets the choice to choose how they pick a class, but I would just say pick it towards your personality. Four, I would say don't procrastinate. Don't keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Do detailed research. A lot of times too, you don't, if particularly if you're on financial aid or even if you're registration, you usually can just register for a class but still add and drop it and not mess with your financial aid. You have to look that up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. But a lot of times you can be like, okay, I'm at this class, whatever. Just before they won't get taken up real quick. I know sometimes people register for classes and some classes be over in 5 minutes. Don't procrastinate. Do your research. If you've already said, okay, well, my upcoming freshman year, my upcoming junior year, whatever, I'm gonna take this class, and that class. Okay, you take those classes as it's about to wrap up and finals about to wrap up. I'm already looking for whenever that registration period is, a week before that, 2 weeks before that. I'm already doing my research about who's the best professor to take, so that when next semester rolls around, I can register for those classes. Okay. And last but not least, you just gotta pray about it. Just make strong decisions. Console a family, again, older siblings. Just pray and ask for counsel and direction. And a lot of times it will be revealed to you. Me personally, I chose these classes thinking that they were like just good ideas or just like, okay, I know this professor or I seen this professor around, but I didn't do that much detailed research into it. And then after, I'm not trying to be funny, take this from a college student. Let me leave this alone because I'm going to make another video about this later. Everything that somebody or thought about or even rate my professor, anybody has said in some variation, it was true, but in some variation, it was false. So you're not getting 100% great information because there's going to be some salty students on there. There's going to be some students that give a really good review and some are going to give a really bad review. But a lot of times, a lot of these things are, in fact, truthful. But you just have to say from the eyes of the beholder. One man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's hardship is another man's joyride. So you just have to just get that for yourself in that individual idea. So it's gonna be hard. You're gonna bump your head, and a lot of times you have to maybe pick one or two bad classes just to see the other good ones. But that's what you work for and that's what you prepare for. So don't be scared. Just pick your classes and you'll be straight. So, that's all I got to say. I hope this information helped you in any kind of way. If you need any more help or got any more ideas on videos and tips or that you want to hear, please leave them inside the comment section down below. I am on to the next one. I shall return very soon. This is Tips for Young Black Men in College.